What's up, everyone? I'm back now, and and in this video, I'm going to talk about my summer camp story 5. I developed talking about this about an hour ago. It took me a long time to think, but however, I regret it because someone unsubscribed to me, and it hurt. It pretty much hurt me in a way, and uh, and now because it took me a long time to get me 34 subscribers. It took about 6 months or 7 months or so, or something like that. But now, uh, but now it's 33 subscribers again, which I'm kind of sad of, kind of depressing. Now I have to wait until someone subscribes to my channel, something like that. But anyways, I'm moving on, and this summer camp story tells, and this took place in summer of 2012, and there was a lot of stuff that happened in summer 20 throughout that whole summer 2012 when I was at summer camp. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of crazy stuff happened. A lot of there was a lot of bullies, but I'm definitely going to get into that right now. Anyways, it started in June 2012 when I started to go back with my son with the summer camp and my group with daycare. But the group with daycare was very little this time, and it was not big like 2009 group and the 2011 group. So it was like 5 people or 6 people. That's that's how much it was. So we went there, and on the first day they were doing the dance routines and stuff like that. And I sat on the bleachers with a group of kids, and I look up, and there was this kid uh, saying that don't look at my nuts, and I didn't understand what he meant by that because no one's told me about what nuts are and stuff like that. But and I kind of feel bad about that. I kind of feel bad about that. If I known this like in 2010, I probably would know what he meant. But no one told me about what nuts is and all of that because my parents don't tell me stuff like that. They never do. I would have to just learn the hard way on my own. And he kept saying it. I kept looking up. I didn't know what he meant. And after that, uh, he came down and we were about to fight. Then the guy came and he went his way and I went my way because I was. And later on that day, I was angry and confused. Like, what did he mean? And all of that. I was pissed off. And all that. Then right after that, a few days after that, we went to the Black History Museum at downtown on the north side, and over and over in that area, there was like a lot of abandoned houses and all that in the whole area. But now it's not there anymore. It's just this new construction site there now, building a new NGA headquarters, which is going to be for governments and agencies and all of that. But but I'm getting back to the topic. We went over there. We went to the museum. It was 11, 12 year olds. I was 13 at the time because they allowed me to stay at the summer camp when I was 13 years old because they trust me. But mostly, most kids are not allowed at the summer camp when they're 13 years old. However, this changed when I came back. Years later, it changed. So Actually, it was a couple years later when I came back, and we went inside and we saw the slave mannequins and all that, like chained up, taken to America, and we left the Black History Museum. And we never been inside of it ever again. Only been inside there once. I never been inside there at all ever in my life. Then after that, there was these. We had a summer blast party and all of that. It was pretty great. Then a few days later, these kids came, and they had a big sister. I'm not gonna say her name on here at all. I'm just going. I'm just going to refer to her the the little kid's big sister. And then the eight, and they were both 8 and 9 at the time. They were like messing with me and all of that. They were messing with me and all of that. For some reason, I didn't do nothing to them. They just came to mess with me for no reason. I just told them, please stop. Don't do this. I don't want to deal with it. But they just continued to do that. But they went back to the group eventually downhill. Then, then after that, there was this new girl that came, but I'm definitely not going to say her name either. And there was a new girl that came in. She turned 10 when she got to daycare, but before that, she was 9 years old, but she turned 10 years old. And she was pretty nice. She was pretty nice to me and the other like kids that were there. And um, she came to summer camp and all of that in the car and all of that. And then then there was this girl. Then after that, I soon met this girl. Actually, there was this girl that didn't I want to be friends with, but she didn't like me, and she left the summer camp and never returned, bro. And for this summer, for some reason, I met all kind of bullies there and people that just didn't like me for some reason. I don't know why, but I suffered. I suffered and stuff. And there was this girl, and we were all in this room at the time. We were all in this room in the summer camp looking at TV, and and she was thinking I stared at her ass, but I wasn't staring at her ass. She thinks I was. So she started talking about that. You like staring at my ass, and I was like, nope. And she said, "Do you want to go out with me?" And the other kids were like, "Say to go out with her, say to go out with her," and all of that. But I was just wasn't. I was like, "Nope, I don't want to go out." Actually, nobody didn't want to go out, but she wants to made up. She wants to like wait and let me make up my mind. As time went on, as time went on, this girl that I met, she was like 12 years old. She was 12 or 13 years old, but she looked was like she was 15 or something. She was like she's 15 years old or 14 years old, somewhere like that, somewhere in between. Then she started to act like strange to me. Instead of being nice, every time I come by her, she, she started to act so mean to me. out of nowhere, and I didn't know why she was acting mean to me. I was so confused because she was nice before, but now she's acting mean, and I didn't understand why she was acting mean. Every time I come up to her and all of that, and I sometimes like come up to her just to say hello, but she constantly being mean to me like that. So I was like, was she like this all? And I'm like now, like, was she like this all along? Was she playing nice to hide her mean side of her or something like that? And 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 then after that, there was this girl, which I forgot her name entirely, but I saw her like the last time I saw her was like almost 5 years ago in Florissant at the Snooks, and I haven't seen her since like 2012. So we both hugged and all of that. And that girl, she had a crush on me, and she wanted to go out with me and stuff like that. She wanted to go out with me, and I didn't want to go out with her or something like that. But she wanted to go out with me. She had a crush on me and all of that. Uh, so I didn't know what to say to her except like I didn't want to go out with you and all of that. And then after that, uh, and this girl, I guess, this girl been there ever since 2011 or so. Because I forgot to mention her in the last story because she was in the last story, but she didn't have a crush on me at the time though. Then next, there was the 8 and 9 year old still messing with me, all of that, driving me crazy every day, and on top of that, the other girl was driving me crazy too, and all of that. And then this girl that was in the daycare group at the end of at the end of June, she started acting very strange as well. She started acting weird. She was started like doing like she was started like being angry at me for some reason. I don't know why. She started just being angry at me and talking like rude stuff to me. So I was like, I didn't understand like why you're being so mean to me and stuff like that. And and I was the only one who knows it in the group. Most of the other kids did not knows this at all. Something like that. They did not notice at all. And I'm not and she they probably didn't know because they were like paying attention to something else most of the time and all of that. And uh and like we went to the science center and stuff like that. But it wasn't like the actual science center. We went to like a small science center that I never heard of in my entire life. It's like south of the science center, near this bridge, and near this train yard somewhere. And it was a small science center, and they had like, and when in there they had a plant, and they had all kind of trifling and nasty stuff in there. They had like bottles everywhere and stuff like that. Like it would just look all nasty in there and stuff like that. Like, what kind of sign? And I was like, what kind of silencer is this? I'm and and I wanted to get out of there and never come back because it was just a disgusting place and all that. And after that, we left and we went and we got outside and we walked. There was this like bridge under the highway. There was this tunnel under the highway, and we walked across. We walked under it and into Forest Park, and waited there, and we got back on the bus. Then Fourth of July comes around. We stayed in St. Louis. We didn't go to Mobile, Alabama that year, and we went to like Florissant for the fireworks. And it was a pretty amazing experience because I was on like very extremely close to the fireworks. I wasn't far away like most of the other people were. I was extremely close to the fireworks. They were literally on top of me. That's how close I was. And after that, I went back to summer camp. You know that. Then from here, everything started to get very worse for me with that new girl. Actually, before that, uh, right, like the moment when I went back to summer camp after the 4th of July, my daycare, my daycare who drive us there, she started to like go in an entirely different direction, and she went through like Midtown and all that, and she hit the mirror on a on like another car, and she didn't want to say this to like the guy about it because that was really his car. She was just using just for that day, and she told him anyway, and he was just pissed off. And on the same day, I heard this rap music called "Diced Pineapples" by Rick Ross, and it was a beautiful music and stuff like that. Still, I still listen to it today because how beautiful it is. It's just amazing music. And the hip hop music at the time was pretty awesome. It was amazing. It was pretty amazing and all that. Better than the hip hop music that's coming out now, definitely. Mm. And after that, everything started to go downhill for me. Like the girl started to get much worse. Her behavior starting to get worse over time with me. Like she started making threats at me. Like she said, if you don't do this, I'll punch you in your face. And all that. And I told her like, and I felt powerless. I felt powerless. I didn't know what to do. I felt very powerless. Um, and she started to do the like sexual stuff with me. She started doing the sexual stuff with me and stuff like that. She wanted to do that and wanted to do that to her. Like, what kind of, and I was like, what kind of 10-year-old is this? And I'm still wondering to this day, what kind of 10-year-old is that? Like, what was she trying to do? Why was she doing it? I didn't understand it to this day. And it's been literally almost 10 years after that. And, and also, forgot to mention, before I get further, we went to the tennis court. We went to the tennis court like in June, and we constantly went there for every part of the week. We did tennis there at Forest Park. It was an amazing experience and all of that. But then the back to like the girl. She started like making me do something that I didn't want to do. Like I didn't want to do that, but was threatening me if she was threatening me. Like she said if you don't do this, I'll punch you in your face. Like I felt powerless. Like I don't know what kind of 10-year old she was. Like I never seen a 10-year old act like that. I never seen a 10-year old act like that. And and what else? We had like the, one day outside on the hill. I was on the playground with my friends and all of that. Then the 8 and 9 year old came by and and they started messing with me all that. I told them stop. They just continued, and they went on top of the playground with the girls, I guess, and they was talking stuff to me, talking about stuff to me, and I was pissed off and all that. And they were all staring at me, and I was looking from the ground because I was not on the playground, I was on the ground, and I was looking up at them and all that. And the other 9 year old kid was like spitting and drooling and all that. Then I went up there. Then I went up there on the playground and all that. Then they said something to me, and I was like getting more pissed off and all that. Then we went down the hill, and then we had a sports day event where all summer camps from across the city comes to like this our main summer camp to do events. And on that day, I didn't do anything. Uh, and and I just sat on the bleachers and watched everyone. Then some other summer camp won the trophy. They're all cheering and being happy and all that. And and we just looked at them and all that. And they were just like trampling over each other, like being happy and all that because they won. And like then a couple of days after that, a couple of days later, like that girl's behavior was getting extremely bad at this point. She was like still making me do stuff and all that, and and like and like she was like she was like threatening me. She didn't she like make this. She did this, and she did and did that. She like did this and did that. Hope you seen it on the screen because I didn't. When the first time I did it, it wasn't showing on the screen. She did that to me, and uh, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to say of it because her personality constantly switches. First she's nice, then she's like angry, then making threats at me and all that. So I really don't know what she was trying to do. Uh, and then the daycare sitter, she started noticing it as well because her behavior started to bother her and all that. But still, the other kids did not notice it. They didn't notice it at all for some reason because they must be really focusing on something else. They wasn't focusing on her. I was the only one and her to notice it. Then, then after that, everyone like was gone. Everyone was gone, and it was just me and the girl and the 10-year-old girl at the car. And when she got out the car to drop this other kid off, everything everything just went downhill, extremely downhill, like never before. She started like do this stuff with her hands and all that stuff at me and all that. She was starting to like punch her hands together and all that. And I was nodding my head, just don't fight me and all of that. But now I felt like I should have just done something. Like I like now, I was if that happened now, I would just hopefully that okay. Let me not think about that. Then and this what happened in the car continued for over an hour. I wanted to leave that car. I really wanted to leave that car. I just didn't want to be near this girl no more. I just didn't want to be near this crazy 10-year-old girl anymore. I wanted to get out of the car, but I couldn't get out of the car. But I wanted to get out. I was like this close of getting out the car to go up there with them because she was talking with them on all of that. Like she was making threats, getting angry at me and stuff like that. I really wanted to get out the and then she came back to the car and she like drove off and all of that. And I felt powerless. I felt totally powerless. And she stopped doing it when she got in the car. Then we drove to daycare and I went home and I went home after that. The next day, the crazy 10-year-old girl was not there. They told us that the 10-year-old girl was not going to come no more, and I was extremely relieved. I was extremely relieved because I did not want to see or deal with that crazy 10-year-old no more and all of that. Uh, and then after that, my stuff, at least the girl was gone, but I was still suffering at summer camp. I was still extremely suffering at summer camp. As days went on, one day, I think around July 15th or the 21st, somewhere in that time, excuse me, there was there was this me. We were all playing dodgeball on that day, throwing the ball at each other and all that. Then I was keep getting out over and over again, and my friend started call me like out out over and over again. And I was like getting pissed off about that. So I told him stop. But he continued to say that over and over again. And every time I kept getting out and out, he says it out, and it just annoyed me. So I stopped playing the game. He still was saying it to me. He was still saying it to me and all that. Then now he was saying, and I told him to stop. He still said it for some reason. He still said it for some reason. So so after that, uh, he got out and say out now, and but now he was calling me by my name and saying out and, and all that. I told him to stop. He still continued. Then when we were going to like swimming and all of that, he was still saying my name and calling me out and all that. And he was with his friend as well at this point. We went to swimming. It was pretty good. But after we got out the pool and went to that locker room, everything got worse from there. It got extremely bad from there. What happened is I was in the shower room where all the boys were at and all of that. And it was a huge shower, by the way. Everyone was at their own shower, washing off. He comes to me and says, out and all of that. Out over and over again. And I was telling them stop. Then he's saying out. Then I got extremely mad and told him to stop, and I was balling my fist up at him. And he did not say out no more. He just gave me this angry like look and all of that. And he walked up to me and he spit on my foot and I rubbed it off. Actually, I rubbed it with my foot off, and we were staring at each other. We were getting ready to fight each other, but the guard came in, and we walked our separate ways. And like then after that, at that point, everyone in that whole locker room was staring at us when we were about to fight. The 8 and 9, and I'll get to the 8 and 9 year olds later, but they were staring at us too. Then I got my stuff and went to this area and got my clothes on, but they came to me and they said my name and out over and over again. But his friend was saying it this time at me over and over again. So I was getting pissed off of that. I was getting angry, so I hurried up, got my clothes on, and I was going to look for them, but then there was nowhere to be found. And then I found them while they were leaving out the door, and that was the last time I seen them. I didn't want to see him ever again in my life because if he returned next year, I would fight him next year. I want because I would fight him next year in 2013 if he ever returned. Um, then after that, the 8 and 9 year old kids that we used to mess with, they didn't mess with me no more after that, and we were starting to be friends and all stuff like that. And I was friends with that guy for like 2 years. I was friends with that guy for 2 years. I met him in 2010, and we became great friends. And our friendship just fall apart that day. Like a couple of days later, our summer camp party happened. Summer camp party happened, and I wasn't getting messed with no more after I was. It was finally peaceful, and we had like fun and all of that. We were playing hip hop music and all that. People were jumping into the pool and all of that. I was near the deep side. I didn't go always to the deep end because I didn't know how to swim. For the deep area, everyone knows how to swim, and some of the kids were over there in the deep end swimming and all of that. Then after that, my daycare sitter came in the swimming pool. She saw me and she told me to get out. We were going to leave. So I packed up and left. So I packed up, got my clothes on, and left, along with the other kids that were going back to the daycare group. We got in the car, we drove off, and we headed back to daycare. Then my mom picked me up and dropped me back home. And I was thinking about next term because if I ever see the kid, I was thinking if I ever see the kid, we were going to fight. The moment he comes back, I was going to fight him. So, and that's pretty much it. And all that. That was pretty much it. Like and subscribe to my channel where I post every 3 days, 4 days, and sometimes a week. See ya.